2024's more than halfway done, but the PC games, they just keep coming. Send help. Hello and welcome to ROG Global, where we celebrate PC games, even the ones on our pile of shame, which is, let's be honest, taller than 3 gaming Everests stacked on top of each other by this point. Slow down, brilliant PC games. There's too many of you arriving this year and we're nearly out of annual leave. In fact, when you look ahead at the rest of the calendar year, you can make a pretty compelling argument that the best is yet to come. We've just had Starfield Shattered Space arrive, a huge expansion for one of 2023's biggest games, which runs best on ROG hardware. And that's just one of many blockbusters to land in the back half of the year. Which means if you've been mulling over an upgrade or looking for a reason to treat yourself to some new peripherals, cough cough, visit rog.asus.com to see our latest gear. The final months of 2024 are an excellent excuse to lavish your setup with some new stuff. Let's get into the games then, and then afterwards we can brainstorm how we're possibly going to play all of this lot before January.
Okay then, let's see if you can keep up.
What do you mean if I can keep up?
Black Ops 6, aka Black Ops Cold War 2, aka Call of Duty Part 21, is already a record breaker before it even sneaks its way onto your SSD, having enjoyed the longest development cycle in franchise history. It took 4 years to make this latest suite of solo campaign, zombies, Warzone, and multiplayer. So expect the usual polish and Hollywood production values dialed up to quadruple volume. Omni movement is one of this year's big USPs. You can sprint in all directions now and dive around the battlefield like a Kevlar-coated Max Payne. And while our own attempts to sprint backwards IRL when we heard about this resulted in a swift visit to the office carpet, we're excited to see how it'll change the average Warzone gunfight. The solo campaign's set in 1991 and sees you hunting down a group called Pantheon who've infiltrated the CIA. But to be honest, this being a Black Ops campaign and everything, we've probably already said too much. Hang on, it's a delivery van usually outside our house. They're on to us, gotta go. The very same month as Blops 6, a new Dragon Age arrives. It's been 9 years now since Inquisition dropped, and I bet plenty of you still haven't finished it yet, have you? No? Well, now there's even less chance of that happening because Veilguard's here in time for Halloween. And yet, despite its proximity, the amount we actually know about the artist formerly known as Dragon Age Dreadwolf remains scant and enigmatic. Here's what we do know. Once again, you're returning to the fantastical world of Thedas, exploring new regions within BioWare's Tolkien-esque realm with a cast of 7 companions, uniting the lands as a leader against corrupt gods, and as ever, your decisions will have far-reaching impacts on the game world. Some recent mage combat gameplay showed off how that radial wheel of abilities that we were introduced to in Inquisition has been updated for an all-new tech engine and confirms that, yes, there will indeed be some pretty epic battles. Here's something that we didn't see coming. Microsoft Flight Simulator games would make a glorious return in the 2020s, and they'd replace Crysis as the Can It Run king in the process. The 2020 release was impossibly pretty. Honestly, it was like a 1-to-1 scale replica of Earth, but somehow slightly prettier, and don't ask us how, but Flight Sim 2024 looks even better. Which means if you want to enjoy it at its best, you will need a beast of a gaming PC or laptop. High-end GPU grunt from the ROG Strix RTX 4090 would be the ideal solution, or the RTX 4090 laptop GPU inside the ROG Zephyrus G16 for a bit of virtual aviation while you're out in the world, away from your desktop setup. As for the game content, there's a ton of new mission types this time, including aerial firefighting, in case both of those things weren't scary or demanding enough on their own, mountain rescue, skydiving, commercial aviation, and even aerial crane construction. Which is great and everything, but it doesn't change the fact that the first thing we'll be doing is flying over our own town and judging how accurate the layout is. It's the rules. They say the grass is always greener on the other side. And while that saying is intended to remind us that what we have is always better than what we covet, when what we have is a dangerously irradiated wasteland full of nightmare anomalies, and the other side in question is a shining zone of eternal spring, well, maybe in this instance, the grass really is greener. Welcome to Stalker: Heart of Chernobyl. a long-awaited follow-up to a series of incredibly open, atmospheric shooters from the noughties. Developer GSC Game World has tragically had to contend with actual war taking place in its native Ukraine during development, so its release will be an incredible achievement. The fact that it looks so dripping in immersive portent, such a walk-in world of post-nuclear anomalies, strange folklore and brutal mercenary gang territories is a bonus. And quite a big one.
Рівний край Черемоша й прута. Ти моя любов, ти рідна матінко моя.
And finally, before the year's out, we get to be Indiana Jones. What a time to be alive and a gamer. Machine Games is cracking the whip for this one, the studio behind those deliciously chaotic Wolfensteins, and it's using its expertise with the first-person perspective this time too, to tell a different type of story, one set in 1937, and in which the world's least convincing college professor is traveling the world in pursuit of a sinister organization who want to harness the power of the eponymous Great Circle, sites of ancient and supernatural energy. Your mind naturally goes to Uncharted and Tomb Raider when you think about an interactive Indiana Jones adventure, since those series borrow so much from Indy in the first place. So it's a brave and exciting decision on Machine Games' part not to just follow the cookie-cutter approach and blend first and third-person gameplay like this, in a world that makes you glad to be a PC gamer. What a way to finish off the year.
Dead and forgotten in the sense of Africa.
Right, busy few months then. Plenty to keep your PC fed and happy until well into 2025. Let us know what's at the top of your own wishlist down in the comments and make us feel better by confessing the oldest game that you still haven't finished yet. My pile of shame thanks you in advance. Subscribe for more, leave us a like if you like this vid, and we'll catch you in the next one.